All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to Edge Sports Network. Today we got another interview for you guys. Part of our summer series, we got Avery Anderson III, Oklahoma State guard. Avery, thanks so much for joining us here on the site today.
Thank you for having me, sir. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you on. Doing it over Zoom today. A little bit of a switch up here, but should be perfect. Should be great. So I want to ask you. Coming off your first season with the program here, how'd you feel in year one of college basketball? How was the transition for you? And if you could just kind of describe the experience this season, how was it?
Coming in as a freshman, it was very tough. I had a lot of learning curves in the weight room, on the floor, and it helped me now, my second year coming in, just knowing what to do, knowing like where my teammates need to be at and how everything works. And so I would say my transition from on the court, how it changed up was me coming from a school where I score a lot, and that's my role is being a leader. Coming into my first year of college, I'm a tone setter coming off the bench and being a six man and running the team when icing out on the floor and just trying to control the game as a freshman coming off the bench and maintaining the game. And I would say my transition in the weight room, getting bigger wise, is just eating a lot. Because gaining weight, I need to gain weight. I was small, but Coach Jake really helped me a lot with the protein shakes and stuff, drinking those after the lift, and those really helped me gain weight, pick up some weight.
For sure. I know, as you mentioned, back in high school, you were really a scorer, scored over 2,700 points. You have the high school scoring record there, of course. And then you come into this program, and I know you started a few games, came off the bench quite a bit as well. But you were often a spark when you came off the bench. So how'd you kind of have to switch up the mentality, coming off the bench, just to know that, all right, game time, let's go, let's provide a spark for the team. How do you kind of have that mentality coming into a game?
I just wanted to do whatever the team needed me to do to get the dubs. And once I saw they needed a tone setter, I just chose to be that guy and started up on defense. Defense wins games, and that's what Coach Boynton preached. And I just wanted to be that guy to come in and do whatever the team needs me to do, whether that's scoring, I could score a little bit, making plays for my teammates, make plays, or get stops on defense.
For sure. You did just that. I know, you saw action in 30 games this season. Coming in as a freshman, not every freshman gets that opportunity to have that much play time. So how's that kind of help you confidence-wise and just as kind of a jumping-off point for this upcoming sophomore season?
It's a big deal from Coach B having trust in me. So that's giving me a lot of confidence knowing that he trusts me coming in and playing a big time in this as a freshman, that he knows, he believes in me and what I could do in my ability. So coming in this year, I feel like he's going to even have more trust in me to run the team, be a leader with Ice and Cade and all of them, just knowing I could be that guy also with Ice and Cade.
Yeah, for sure. You're real early on in the program here, too. I know this was your first taste of college basketball and Big 12 basketball as well. Coming into a conference like the Big 12, I'm sure that's really helped you just mentally and physically improve your game. So can you talk a little bit about how Big 12 basketball has been and just what the competition's like in a conference like that?
Yeah, the Big 12 conference is a competitive league.
Yeah.
You got to be ready every single night because you're going up against good guards, good teams that play together, and that's physical, like West Virginia. You got to battle against them, like actually battle down there. Because if you don't battle, they just going to kick you on the boards, just push you around. And so you just got to come mentally prepared to every game.
For sure. I know. First of all, I can't even imagine playing in a conference like that, let alone like college basketball. You play in a conference like that. That's top 5 conference in the country, no doubt about it. Yeah. And, you've been good on both sides of the ball, too, offensively, defensively. Yeah, no problem. And, I always like to talk about the defensive side of things because that's something that people often overlook, but it's like the most important part of basketball when it comes down to it. So how have you really worked on your defensive game, throughout your entire career? I'm talking like before high school, and now in college year. What kind of things do you focus on defense?
Yeah, so my pops always just said, you can't be an offensive minded player, you got to be both ways. You got to be two-way player, and that's locking somebody up on defense and also making plays on the offensive end. And the way I worked at it was just being a down-hearted lock-up player from like middle school, locking everybody up on defense and getting out and running on offense. And that it also helped me playing up, I would say, because I would play up on AAU teams against older cats, and so I would say that helped me move laterally faster.
For sure, yeah. And I know being from Texas too. I mean, I've talked with a lot of guys from Texas, and that basketball atmosphere out there is, from what I've heard, amazing. So can you just talk a little bit about that, how that's kind of helped you in your development?
Yeah, Texas also helped me too with my performance, because everybody gonna come out on the weekends to the AAU games, because you got Tyrese Maxey, you got Chris Harris, you got me, you got Jemias Ramsey, Drew Timme, Samuel Williamson, all them cats just playing and hooping. And even unknown people that y'all don't know. It's just, we would just always go to battle on the weekends, and everybody would come out and watch. And so it was just a joy to play in front of them and with them.
Oh, for sure. No doubt about it. I know, every guy I've talked with has just said Texas is between the actual competition of play and then between like the fan support that you guys have out there, just high school AAU, everything.
Crazy.
It's amazing. Yeah, I can't even, really we're up in Massachusetts right now, so the high school AAU basketball culture, it's all right, but it's nothing like Texas. So, we'll get a couple hundred people maybe at high school games, but I heard you guys are like packing arenas in, and
high school ball crazy too.
Oh yeah, I heard it's just nuts. Yeah, I heard it's just nuts, and I've even seen highlights and stuff of just Texas high school games. And I mean, you can barely tell the difference between a college basketball game and a Texas high school game. So
it get live.
I know, yeah, it's crazy. And I know with that atmosphere aspect of it, I mean, does that kind of help you too? I know now that you're playing in front of thousands of people on one of the biggest stages, kind of playing in high school where you have so many fans watching you. Does that kind of help you go into college as well?
Yes, sir. I would say it definitely did, because like in high school games, not really much in AAU, you got a whole bunch of students like just yelling at you, probably saying you overrated. If you miss a shot, air ball, something like that, they going at you like they gonna talk.
Yeah.
And so just coming in college, you used to the atmosphere, and you can't really like hear people, so you just go out there and hoop.
Yeah, I mean, going to your first college basketball game too. I mean, when you kind of walk out there, take the floor, experience that atmosphere for the first time. Can you describe that experience a little bit?
Yeah, so my first college basketball game, when I first stepped on the floor and did like 3 trips down the floor, I was dead tired. My throat was so dry, I was like ready to come out, but I ain't want to say nothing because I wanted to keep playing. So I had to play through it. And so just knowing when I had came off, I was like, I got to get in shape, like, because this is ridiculous. I'm tired in the first, 3 trips down the court. So when time passed, I got used to it. And so I just started hooping.
Yeah, there you go. I know. I feel like that first game is always kind of the game where you got to kind of get the college basketball atmosphere under your belt and stuff. And I heard a lot of guys, once they make that first basket, it's like, okay, now I'm playing basketball. Now I'm kind of back to the normal thing. And I know having this be your first year, what'd you kind of take most out of it? I mean, what do you really kind of... I know it's definitely different from high school, definitely different from any type of basketball you've played. So what kind of lessons did you learn in this first season and really, take out of it that you'll take with you for the rest of your career?
Just being patient. Knowing when my time is, knowing when I need to make a basketball play, when I need to take over, and also just waiting for my turn whenever it's my time to shine, just being patient.
That's the best way to look at it. I mean, that advice is going to kind of help you throughout any season too, I feel like. And I know I always like to ask this too. I mean, what made you choose Oklahoma State? I mean, it's a great school, no doubt about it, basketball and academics-wise. Not a lot of guys are lucky enough to be in your position where you have those options. I know you had other schools looking at you like Florida, LSU. Texas
Yeah.
Tech, Texas A&M. You had these great schools looking at you. How'd it come down to Oklahoma State?
A couple reasons. I would say the family base down there,
Mm-hmm.
the Cowboy Nation is unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
Coach Boynton, he was real with me from the jump, and I just took in a lot what he said and believed in it. And also, I didn't want to be away from my family, like too far away from my
Mm-hmm.
family. So it's good amount of distance where my mom and dad and my sister got to come and watch me play almost every home game, and I
Mm-hmm.
was loved. And so it was just all a good fit for me, I feel like.
Yeah. How far are you from home? About a couple hours or so?
Three hours
3 hours? Yeah, I feel like that's perfect distance right there because, as you said, still get the family to watch you, but at the same time, you don't have any unexpected visitors too.
Gotcha.
No
Yeah.
one's showing up from high school that you didn't want to see. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's perfect right there. And I know if you could kind of look back on your first season here, what was, your favorite moment or some of your favorite moments that you had in your first year with the program here?
I would say going back to Fort Worth playing TCU,
Mm-hmm.
back at back at the crib, and everybody got to come and watch. That was a big moment. Um, Another big moment was playing in the Big 12 tournament.
Mm-hmm.
That one game when Ice won at the buzzer, that was a big time game, and probably winning the that New York tournament that we
Mm-hmm.
had won,
Mm-hmm.
and that.
That's great. That tournament, yeah, that tournament atmosphere too. I mean, how was that? I mean, that's kind of your first taste of tournament play. I know stakes are raised. How'd you feel in those games?
I loved it. The
Mm-hmm.
energy just made me turn up. Like I just feed off of energy. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like you say if we get two defensive stops, I'm turned up.
Mm-hmm.
It may not seem like because I'm a pretty calm player, but I'm gonna be turned up for my team and just the energy. I
Mm-hmm.
love the energy.
No doubt. No, I'm sure that really helps you too. Just kind of to feed off it and stuff, and that will help you guys as a team, I'm sure.
Yeah,
When you're playing in front of that many people and they're all excited, I know that atmosphere must be really special, and you can see it on the floor too. I mean, when the crowd's
for
getting
sure.
into it, you guys are getting into it, and that's leading to success right there. You're coming off a solid first season with the program. You averaged 4 points, couple rebounds, shot the ball at 36%. As I said, you played in a ton of games with 30, plenty of play time going into the sophomore season here. What are some goals that you have for yourself and for your team this year as you approach year two?
I would say some goals that I have this year is being a leader, vocal leader, um, making it to the conference again
Mm-hmm.
at a top team,
Mm-hmm.
um, making sure I am a good resource for my teammates,
Mm-hmm.
and just being whatever I could be with my role.
Excellent. I mean, those are great goals right there. I'm looking forward to see what you do in the sophomore season for sure, both personally and
Appreciate
as a
that.
team. No problem at all. And I always like to kind of wrap up the interview here with some fun questions, and then one at the end that's like the $1 million question here. So this first question for you, favorite basketball moment of all time can be professionally, collegiate, just anything that you'll always kind of remember as just a basketball fan, something that kind of sticks with you.
I would say Ray Allen catching it in the corner and hitting the tray wall.
Oh man, from Miami, huh?
Yeah.
Oh
That's a big one.
man, that one pains me as a Celtics fan.
For
Pains
real?
me. Yeah, it was tough, man. But seeing Ray in Boston, I was probably, I think I was like 7 or 8 years old when he was out here in Boston.
Yeah.
So I remember him. He had that stroke that was like no other.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's true.
oh my God, yeah. And then to go to Miami, it was very. I just remember being a kid and like I couldn't picture him. I could not picture him. It hurt so bad. It hurt so bad. And then that shot is the one that he's pretty much like always remembered for now. So
Mm-hmm.
seeing him in the Miami jersey and every Ray Allen highlight I see is like great, awesome. But that's definitely a great moment. Definitely memorable. And that was when they had the big three too. When they had D
Mm-hmm.
Wade, LeBron, and Bosh. So
Yeah,
man, I feel like people forget about that era right there a little bit. I feel like
they
that's
do.
kind of an underrated era, but
Yeah.
definitely a great moment. So good basketball moment right there. I also want to ask another fun question for you. If you could have lunch with any NBA player, past or present, they can be dead or alive, who would it be?
That's a tough one. I'm going with MJ.
There you go. You got it. You got it. I mean, you got it. You saw.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm going
assuming
with
you
MJ.
saw the documentary, right?
Of course, of
There we go.
course.
There we go. I mean, I saw they just put it on Netflix too, so that's how my past month has looked, or 2 weeks at least.
Yeah,
Just kind of binging that again.
yeah,
So gotta get through the quarantine, man. But
yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
great documentary, great player. What kind of things would you want to ask him about? I mean, there's so much to ask him about, but what would you kind of
Just,
want to learn more?
just how he had that mentality, that killer mentality,
Mm-hmm.
and just what it takes to get to the league. Like what all did he do?
Mm-hmm.
How many times did he work out? Just a whole bunch of stuff I could ask him. Like, how did it feel having like your own shoes, playing in your
Yeah.
own shoes? A whole bunch of stuff.
All right, I'll ask you this now. I mean, if the shoe question comes up, if you ever get your own shoe brand
Jordan,
someday,
Jordan,
yeah,
Jordan.
Joe. All right, all right, all right, all right. There we
I,
go. You didn't have to think about that one, huh? You didn't have to think about that.
no,
All right, there we go. So you heard it here first. We'll remember that. Um, and yeah, you were quick with that. Like you were ready for that.
no.
For
That's my brand,
I
Jordan.
know
All the way.
for the viewers' information, we didn't set that up at all. So I mean, you were just right on the money with that. Um,
Yeah.
Man, good to see right there. So that leads me to my next question here, the $1 million question that we have for you.
Okay, I'm
Um,
ready.
I mean, you might have thought about this one before, you might have not, but when your time's over at OSU, when you're on to the next level, I mean, what would you kind of like your legacy to look like, first of all? And then second of all, let's look like 5 to 7 years down the road. What would be kind of the ideal situation for yourself?
That's a good question. My time up playing basketball, I would say I want people to look at me as a great teammate that did whatever he could do on the floor
Mm-hmm.
to win games and just go down in history as a all-time player that could do it
Mm-hmm.
all
For
on
sure.
both ends of the floor.
For sure. That's a great legacy to leave right there. And I mean, right now you're stepping the right direction here. So I mean, I want to say first of all, congrats on a great first season with Oklahoma
Appreciate that
State.
again.
Yeah, no problem at all. Wishing you nothing but the best of luck here,
Thank you.
sophomore year and beyond. Really looking forward to this season. I know you guys got Marquette on the schedule this year, correct?
Yep, yep.
So I actually go to Marquette right now, so I'm looking
Really?
forward. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that game. A lot. I'm sure that'll be a really good match. Go easy on us, all right? You got to go easy on Marquette, okay?
Y'all gotta go easy on us. Y'all a good Big East team.
It's gonna be a good matchup. It's gonna be a really good one. I'm looking forward to that. So I know
For
that
sure.
that Big East Big 12 matchup is definitely one that I know everyone's looking forward to. So really looking forward to that game. Wishing you nothing but the best of luck this year,
You
Avery.
too, sir.
Thanks so much, and I mean thanks so much for joining us here on the site today. And we'd always be glad to have you back.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
No problem at all. We'll put your Twitter down below so everyone can go give you a follow. Just keep updated on your career and stuff at OSU and beyond. And then we'll also put a link to Oklahoma State's basketball website so people can go follow that for news and updates. But Avery Anderson III, join us here on Edge Sports Network. Great to have him on. Thanks so much again.
Thank you for having me.
No problem at all. And guys, thanks so much for joining us here on the site. And as always, we'll see you guys next time.